the box, into the kitchen. Let's go see what Trish is cooking.
Hey everybody, Trish right here coming from Barrie, Ontario, Canada, and welcome back to the Cooking Outside the Box. How's everybody doing? I know it's been absent for a while, got a lot of things going on, but I'm going to try and get back here at least once a week or once a month with a new recipe about taking a pre-packaged meal or snack and making it with fresh ingredients, because we all know that that is so much better for us. So I had a request from a friend of mine named Kurt, and he was asking me, can you show a healthier version of those decadent, indulgent snacks that we have at home, like popcorn and chips and all those other kind of things. So he wanted me to do an alternative to that. So I thought this would be perfect because I love snacking as well too. So I have 3 snacks I want to do with you today. One is going to be chocolate over salted cashews with sea salt. And the second one is going to be roasted chickpeas with a taco seasoning flavor. And also I'm going to make date and coconut balls rolled in chocolate. So, and then I'm also going to dip some strawberries in chocolate if I have any left over. So we want to make sure that we have those snacks on hand that we can go and grab. And these are perfect to put them out when your friends and family are coming over, or just having them ready ahead of time so that when you go to grab a snack, you got something that's healthy. It's going to satisfy you, going to do your body good, and you're going to be much happier. And you'll get a really good rounded flavor. So you can mix them all up or eat them all individually, whatever you want to do. So I'm going to turn the camera around here. So here are all the ingredients we're going to use. So the chickpeas have already been drained and rubbed down. So I put them on paper towel and then go over them with another paper towel to kind of get the little paper skins off them and get them dry as well too. And then we've got cashews, and those are salted and roasted. And then we got unsweetened shredded coconut. We got medjooled pitted dates. You can get them at your grocery store. They're delicious. And I'm going with the dark chocolate. So all of these ingredients are going to be used to combine other things. So the dates and the cashews and the chocolate and the coconut are all going to be used. And then the cashews and the chocolate are going to be used as another snack. And the chickpeas are going to be by themselves. So we're going to start with the chickpeas on a roasting pan. We're going to put them in the oven for at 400 degrees for 30 minutes or until golden brown. You want to toss them as you go along. So don't put any oil or any seasoning on yet. We're going to do that afterwards. Now this is a 1-can recipe, because if you keep them too long, they tend to go soft in a container. So I only use a 1 can at a time and then remake them there. But if you're having a lot of people over and you want to triple or double the recipe, that's all you really have to do. So these chickpeas have been dried and drained and then dried with a paper towel. Little skins removed, and we're going to put them in the oven. I have them on parchment paper because I don't like to use foil, because if there's any moisture from the chickpeas left on it, it kind of sits on the foil. It doesn't absorb and tends to burn. So 30 minutes in a 400-degree oven, and we'll be right back and we'll see what they look like, okay? So we're going to make the taco seasoning that's going to go on the chickpeas after they come out of the oven. Now, don't you go buying the taco mix, pre-mixed stuff in the yuck, okay? And we're about making with fresh ingredients. That includes making fresh spices, okay? I like the taco seasoning because it kind of reminds me of Doritos, right? So it kind of kills 2 birds with 1 stone. You can make whatever you want. You can just do salt and pepper. You can do you can just do sea salt or just salt. You can do garlic powder or onion powder and salt, whatever you like. I mean, you can research seasonings for roasted chickpeas and come up with your own if you want, but whatever floats your boat, okay? So for me, I like the taco seasoning part because it reminds me of having a Dorito chip. So, consciously you're thinking about you want the same flavor when it comes to a really decadent snack, okay? So let's make that, shall we? Okay, so now we're going to do the taco seasoning mix because we want to make real taco seasoning milk out of the package. Okay, so we've got a few spices here. We've got coriander, we've got cumin, we've got garlic, we've got chili powder, and we've got some sea salt, okay? So for this recipe, again, it's for 1 can only. So we're going to do 3/4 of a teaspoon for chili powder. I I just have a 1/4 teaspoon, so I'm going to use 3 of those because I like simple math. You can use chipotle, you can use paprika, or you can use Cajun, whatever you want to do, right? So 3/4 of a teaspoon of the chili powder. And then we're going to do 1/2 teaspoon of the coriander. That's coriander. I buy my spices, put them in these little things and put a little label on them so I know which one is which. Coriander I use quite a bit, so we're going to do 1/2 teaspoon of that. Okay, and then we're going to do 1/4 teaspoon of the cumin, which is this. That's my oven going off for my chickpeas. They are ready. 1/4 teaspoon of the cumin. And 1/4 teaspoon of the garlic. Just going to take the lid off, it's much easier. So 1/4 teaspoon of the garlic. And then 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Now you can do 1/4 teaspoon if you want. I like things a little salty because that's what we're all about here. So 1/2 teaspoon of salt. You can do 1/4 teaspoon if you want, okay? And all we're gonna do is mix that up. This is just for the 1 can of chickpeas. So that's gonna be our seasoning mix that we're gonna put on the chickpeas after they're roasted, okay? So we'll be right back because I just heard the timer go off. And we gotta let them cool just a bit, okay? We'll be right back. So we're gonna melt the chocolate. Now, if you don't have the double boiler, just put a little bit of water in a pot, bring it to boil, and turn it right down. I've got the chocolate in a bowl that I'm gonna place just over top of the pot, and then we're gonna melt it down so that it doesn't, you don't want direct heat on chocolate because it makes it weird, right? And this is gonna be for the cashews. So we're gonna melt the chocolate for the cashews now. This is dark chocolate. Like I said, you can get whatever. There's a whole bunch of different chocolates out there. Like even got chili in them. And they've got all kinds of sea salt. Yum. Already in there. So you just want to stir it around. And kind of lift it a bit to get some air in there too. But this is really just going to melt down the chocolate. Super easy to do and you don't need the double boiler. So this is like the alternative for a double boiler, because whoever uses a double boiler to melt chocolate, and it's so much easier to do it this way. You see it on all the food channels and stuff like that as well too. So we're going to come back when this is all melted, and then we'll get it on the cashews, okay? Okay, so this these are the cashews. These are the ones I'm going to drizzle the chocolate over, and these are the ones I'm going to put chocolate directly over. So you're going to mix it up where you're going to have a few drizzled, and then a few actually coated in the chocolate, okay? So remember that pot is kind of warm when you take it off the burner because of the steam. Okay, so I'm going to take the chocolate and drizzle it over these guys. That look yum. I just used about 1/2 brick of that Belgian chocolate that I had. You can use whatever you want. This really gives you the control of how much you're going to put on the cashews and how much you want. Now another really cool tip here is if you like orange, you can use a lemon rind. So you can get get a rasp or a grater and grate the lemon rind of an orange. Just going to take this off for a second. And you can incorporate that right in the chocolate. So as you put it over, then you get these nice zesty orange things. Or you can use an orange oil. So if you have, like orange extract, you can get orange oil that way too. So I'm just being kind of generous here. Remember, these are salted and roasted already, so we don't have to roast our cashews, which is pretty cool. Again, you want a generous amount because if someone's going to get a cashew, man, they want to get some chocolate, right? And don't worry about it being clumpy, whatever, when it goes in the fridge to cool down. we're just going to break it all up when we go to serve it, okay? So don't worry about being perfect here. It's about getting the snacks ready. So you see how simple these are to make ahead of time? Not complicated, they're not baking. So now these guys, we're just going to dump the rest of the chocolate right over top of that. Sorry, the camera's moving there. And then we're just going to stir them right inside, make sure that they're all coated. You see the difference? So now these guys are all coated in chocolate. Yum. Okay, so when they're all coated, I got a little bit extra. Why not, right? Use it all up. Now, I didn't have any strawberries out of the freezer that I had because I just froze them the other day when I picked them. So we're just going to use all the chocolate. But if you really want to have a dessert kind of a snack, you can always get the strawberries and just coat them in the rest of the chocolate. That's always fun. Or anything else you want to coat. But strawberries are kind of nice to have because they're not real sweet. So strawberries are really nice to have if they're not too sweet, okay? So here's what it all looks like when it's done. What you need to do is you need to pour these guys now onto the plate or onto the baking sheet because they all have to cool together. And you want to spread them out so that they're not too clumpy. Okay, and this is what you do if you're going to do all of it. You see the difference? It just makes it a little bit of a different thing. Someone doesn't want a full cashew coated in chocolate, but who wouldn't? Like, look at that. That's amazing. Okay, now this is where the salt comes in. So now that they're all done, we're going to actually sprinkle some salt on there. So I'm just going to shake it on there. So that's all you do. You see that? Just a light coating of salt. Because they're already salted a bit, so we want to add just a little extra salt because, you know, those chips and stuff you have are full of salt, and that's what keeps going back for more, right? So even though the cashews are salted, they're covered in chocolate, so we want to make sure we get enough salt on there. And if you wanted to do chili over top of them or whatever you wanted to do, then that is it. So now these are going to go in the fridge until they're cool, and then we're going to bring them out and we're going to break them up and we're going to serve them that way, okay? So those cashews are now going to go in covered in chocolate, going to go in the fridge, and we're going to let them harden a bit because we want that chocolate harden, and then we just have to break them up when we want to serve them. It's super easy to do, okay? And then, so that's going to go in there. We'll get them out when they're ready because we're going to serve all these together. And we're going to see how they are together and sample them together, okay? So let's get them in the fridge. So now we're going to make the date balls rolled in coconut and cocoa, which is the chocolate part of it. So we've got 8 medjooled pitted dates in here that I've soaked in just warm water for about 10 minutes just to soften them up. Sometimes they're really fresh and sometimes they're not, so it's nice to get them softened up. They're in the food processor. I've got half a cup of, sunflower seeds and pumpkin seeds. You can use almonds or whatever other salted lovely thing you want. That goes right in there as well. And then we've got coconut. This is about 1/4 cup of coconut. Half a cup of coconut there. So we're going to put that in there too. And then all we have to do is put in a tablespoon of the oil, which is olive oil. You can use coconut oil as well too. I don't like using the coconut oil. I find it is really too strong for me, but I love using olive oil, so we're going to put that in there. Okay, now we're going to whip this up. Put our lid on, lock her down, and then we're just going to pulse it to get it going, okay? Kind of heavy a bit because it's got the dates in there. We're just kind of pulsing it to a really like a mush, okay? Kind of goes kind of weird. because it's heavy with the dates. Okay, so now we've got the date puree kind of all done. It's just like it's really kind of very thick and very sticky, okay? I've got cocoa, dark cocoa, and coconut mixed up in here. So we're going to roll the dates in there and then put them on the plate. If you wanted to just roll the dates in cocoa and then some in coconut and kind of make it fancy that way, you can. So all we're going to do is take that. You can put water on your hands if you find that it's too sticky. And the balls should be, you know, average about like that. And then we're going to roll them in here. So because the idea here is to make them look like chocolate, right? So look, they look like a little truffle. So that is it. Try and get them even. Roll them around in there. And put them on the plate. And we'll come back when they're all done and then cooled, and then we will serve all the desserts, the snacks together, okay? Okay, so we are back and all of our snacks are done. Isn't that amazing? So look at what we got here so you can see that. Look at those are the chickpeas all roasted. There's the date balls and the cashews. How nice does that look, right? So we're gonna have a sample. This is the taco seasoning. Now here's the crunch on these. Mmm, so good and it's salty and crunchy, and that's really what you want when you're going for a salty snack. Perfect to make in advance and let it cool when your guest comes over. Wonderful. These are the cashews that were done, that I drizzled over. You get the sweet, and you get the salty, plus the protein of the cashews. That's pretty decadent. And a little bit of that extra salt from the sea salt. You can get the sea salt in flakes too, where you can flake it on. It's nice if you're going to cover a bigger space, but the fine one is fine too. This is the cashews that were done, covered totally in chocolate. Ooh. Those taste really good. More chocolate, but you get the salt from the cashews. Excuse me. Absolutely lovely. And these are our date balls mixed with, and that's cocoa and coconut on the top. I use the dark cocoa because I like the way that it looks like that. Oh, that's really good. It's got a natural sweet and nutty taste to it. It's got the salt from the sunflower seeds because I got them roasted and salted. And that cocoa on the outside is just a perfect amount of chocolate. You can always dip these in chocolate and roll them in coconut too if you wanted to, or sprinkle some sea salt, like whatever you want to do for the coating. But I like the cocoa because it just adds enough chocolate without it being overpowering, because you got that on there too, right? That was delish. So thanks for that was delicious. So thanks for joining me on Cooking Outside the Box with Trish Caparota. I will be posting the videos and the full recipes, but those are some decadent sweet and salty snacks that will absolutely satisfy any craving, and it's so good for you because it's going to give your body what it needs versus just the carbs and the sugar to break down. You're going to feel satisfied, but you're not going to get that other craving as well too. So that should calm a few cravings, and then you can continue munching on them later. So thanks for hanging out with me, guys. We'll see you on the next episode of Cooking Outside the Box with Trish Caparota. Cheers!
Out of the box, into the kitchen, let's go see what Trish is cooking.